Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Live Show. It's a Sunday night. You know what that means. We're done with The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3, so we're here to discuss it with you guys. As always, this is Nerd Chicana here to host show on from our wonderful co-host, Brad Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful Sunday night.
Yes, sir, Sunday night. The feeling's right.
To talk that Last of Us.
Yep. Yes, sir. We did our episode on Nora like a couple of hours ago, Brad.
Yeah, so if you like strippers and you like rich Russians, go check it out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, man, sometimes that's all you need, bro.
Strippers and rich Russians? Sounds like a good time.
Man. Sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time indeed. But yeah, dude, I haven't gotten up to much since we got off air. But yeah, I just played a game of Warzone 1. But look, man, for those of y'all who play Warzone and you don't want to deal with the sweats, I highly recommend you play casual, Battle Royale casual, which is a 50 and 50 mix, 50% mix of bots and 50% mix of real players.
You know you're about to get flamed in the comments.
I don't go fuck. It makes the game way more fun.
You know it's happening. I'm not going to disagree with you. Like, I have no reaction time anymore, so it's probably where I need to be. But I'm just saying, they're going to flame us in the comments.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I have been just absolutely fucking destroyed by these games, Brad. And I believe that...
I mean, you remember when we played Destiny? That was horrid. Bro. Horrid.
Absolutely.
I fucking hated it.
Yeah. It's just, some people have a reaction time, some people don't, right?
And also I think some people have the ability to stay at home and play all day.
Oh yeah.
That's the.
Some of us have lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could pay the bills with that, but no.
Yeah. Sadly, we don't. But
he plays casual on COD. Can we trust his opinion on David Lynch? See, we're already getting flamed by Stacy. He's already in there.
Sorry, Stacy.
Sorry, Stacy. We've let you down.
Yeah. But Stacy, how are you doing, Stacy? I hope you're doing well. Yeah. But I am just absolutely just tired, Brad. I was gonna go to the gym later, but I have walked around a college campus all fucking day.
Yeah. So I think that counts.
Yeah, I think that.
I thought you were going to the gym before we got on for the Nora.
Brad, I was just laying down, chilling in my room.
This man said, "Fuck it, that's me."
Yeah. Yeah. But dude, I am so fucking tired. Just so fucking tired. But Brad, what have you been up to since we last talked? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be nothing.
I watched The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That was about it. I did make a sandwich.
Yeah, what was your sandwich, Brad?
Mine was ham, Swiss, mayo, and mustard. Like nothing. On like a bolillo roll. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Just a regular sandwich. It's a spot. Sure. And then Brenda's was about the same, but no mustard and with Munster.
Yeah. But man, I'm just chilling, man. You want to just go ahead and do this shit?
Yeah, let's go fucking go. That way you can go to bed.
Yeah. All right, man. All right.
I'm ready to talk some Last of Us because I got questions for you.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got questions.
So
because I never played the game, so I don't know what some of the shit was.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get this thing going. So if you are just finishing the episode and you haven't watched the episode and you care about spoilers, you should probably get out of here. But if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen today's episode, go ahead and stay. I know how it goes. This is your one and only spoiler warning. Is in effect after these words from our sponsors in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerdcore Live Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off with code TheNerdCore. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. On TikTok. So, we're back from this commercial break. Sorry guys, I had a different thought in my head.
We were trying to figure out like TikTok and all our other platforms we stream to.
Yeah, man. Exactly. Spoilers, they find a 1-up mushroom to bring Joel back. Yeah. What's up? Yeah, let's go.
Nope.
Let's go.
Nope. I'm afraid not.
Yeah. All right, Brad. This week's episode, season 2, episode 3, titled "The Path." Episode is directed by Peter Hoare. I hope that's how you say his name. Rated for television by Craig Mazin.
Peter, you whore.
And the cast stars Bella Ramsey, Robert John Burke, Caitlin Dever, Gabriel Luna, Young Mazzino, Isabella Merced, Catherine O'Hara, Erica Papas, Pedro Pascal, Danny Ramirez.
Well, it did star Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. Well, he was in like the beginning, like his flashbacks. Rutina Wesley. It was just, I guess it was just the shit that we had to see before. But, yeah.
It's got a lot of people.
Yeah. Remember, Brad, this is like just haven't been updated yet.
It just came out, so you're not going to have like trivia, I'm guessing. If you have trivia, that's pretty impressive.
We don't have trivia. We have a goof.
We have a goof.
Yeah. The road sign listing Seattle, Tacoma, and Portland makes it clear they're approaching Seattle from the north. But then they enter
coming from the east.
But then they enter the city from the south.
But they're supposed to be coming from the east.
Hold on, Brad. But then they enter the city from the south, with the Space Needle on the far side of the city and the water on the left. This may have been an intentional mistake by the filmmakers, since a similar error exists in the video game it was based on. Yeah. But they're supposed to be coming from the east.
Yeah,
that's
like
right.
they literally point on the map, like, we'll come from the east.
Yeah.
I've never been to Seattle, so I don't know. My guess is most of us didn't know where the fuck they were coming in. And we were like, okay, they made it to the city.
Yeah. I guess they did. So, Brad, what are your initial thoughts on this week's episode? And go ahead and ask me the questions you want to ask me.
I thought this episode was pretty terrific. I did watch to the end where they did the making the episode, and I
Darn Google Maps.
Tom.
Sorry.
Tom using. But I did watch the making of the episode at the end, and I liked how the directors said they used this episode to mourn Joel, to allow Ellie and the town and even the viewers to mourn Joel's death. Which I guess hadn't been explored in the game. I guess they just went right into the action in the game. So I thought that was pretty impressive that they would take time out to do that. And I think they did that very well, because you come from a very action-packed episode before this, and this is kind of a nice area to breathe a little bit, because I'm sure based on what I saw for next week's episode, we're not going to get a lot of breathing going forward. So to me, I really like this episode.
Yeah. So I really like this episode. I think it was a good episode. I think it's a step down from last week's episode for sure. But I have to say, you get some really great moments in here. Just this first moment where Tommy is cleaning up Joel's body, to me was just, oh my God. It says everything that words don't even need to say. Yeah. I thought that was just beautifully lit and just done amazing, Brad. Just
you feel the sadness there.
Yeah, like Tommy's devastated, but Tommy
which they show it in that, but they don't really show it in the rest of the episode. Tommy's kind of keeping it together.
He has to, right? Because it's
the town council. He's the leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but so you have that, right? And of course, Ellie being treated, right? And she like wakes up and she's like just screaming, which I'm 100% sure ain't just about her what's it called?
Bit of trauma.
Her bodily injuries. It's
Yeah, her mental. She's still, like they said,
peace special.
she's still stuck in that room when
Yeah.
she wakes up, because she basically, I mean, she went unconscious and then she woke up immediately in the hospital, but she was still in that room.
Yeah. And I think that just this episode was really good, man. I think that they did a great job with having to mourn that loss of Joel, and showing how Jackson itself, the city, is just, at this really big crossroads where they're like, do we set on this path of vengeance and revenge, or do we just come together for the greater good, for us to just move on from this together? And obviously there's people who don't believe that.
Well, and I mean, I can see, you can tell the majority of the town just wants to kind of move on, repair, rebuild, and continue their lives. But by the end of this episode, from what we see, and we can talk about that later, that may not have been their best idea. But I did have some questions for you, Ro.
Yes, Brad, go ahead and spit.
The coffee beans. What was that about?
The coffee beans?
Yeah, that she places on Joel's grave.
Oh, I cannot say that.
What the fuck?
I can't.
What is this? Is there a significance in the future where?
Yes.
What she going to do? Kill Seattle's best? Is that what we're going to do? Go destroy Starbucks?
It's just, it has to do with the possible ending of season 3.
Ah.
So,
So there is a significance.
There's a significance to those coffee beans.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and then the cult, or the religious fanatics walking through the woods. Do they play a bigger part than just being cannon fodder?
100%.
Okay.
We are introduced to what will be called the Seraphites, or how we know them, because we're going to spend a lot more time with Abby, because the wolves do not refer to them as Seraphites, they refer to them as Scars. And they are a religious they're religious zealots. They're a cult-like group
They follow a prophet
who are
of some sort.
terrifying. Who are fucking terrifying, and they play a massive role going into the middle of the game. But we have to keep going into the story to figure that out.
All right, so there is, because at first I was like, well,
the barista.
you just introduced me to what seemed a very cool story, and then they're just all murdered.
Yeah. Well, you paid attention to it. You had to pay attention to what they're saying. They're talking about their prophet, and so.
And then they're communicating in whistles, and I'm like, oh, this is really, this is smart.
Yeah, and then they get ambushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, this episode we do get introduced to the Seraphites. We'll leave it at that, because I'm going at this as we're going through the show, not the game. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. Brad, they are important.
Okay. I was just making sure this wasn't just like a little offset group.
No.
That just got mowed down.
No. This is they're a very important group.
Okay.
So so then of course we have this meeting, and I thought it was really I thought it was interesting, but I thought it was also quite funny that the person who agrees with Ellie is
he was
Seth.
Yeah.
Who
in episode 1,
Yeah. Which I want to say that this is not what happens in the game. They don't vote.
Okay.
They don't send out 16.
Ellie just leaves.
No, actually, Tommy leaves, and Ellie is supposed to go and find him.
Ah.
And,
So I have heard a little bit of just TikTok of
Yeah.
what Tommy turned into in the
Oh
game.
yeah.
So I have an idea.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was gonna ask you, Brad.
They're diverting from that.
Well, I was gonna ask you that, Brad. After that talk with the therapist, do you think that Tommy is gonna be leaving to go and get Ellie?
I mean, from my perspective, as if I'm just watching the show and I don't know anything about the video game, I don't know that it seems to me like he's going to want to be her protector in a way, so he may leave, but at the same time he also has that responsibility of protecting the town.
He's kind of torn between two different responsibilities.
Yeah, but if we bring the game into it, the game is completely different. It sounds like in the game he just fucking goes unhinged.
I will not say any further.
Okay.
I want to see what they're gonna do with Tommy, and I think if they stray too far from the path of what Tommy is in the game, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed.
Well, and I wonder, I question, because you see that force at the end of the WLF.
Ooh, yeah.
And
it's a big force, for sure.
It's a bigger force than I think even Ellie would have thought.
Yeah.
And with the town that they know now exists.
Well, remember, Brad, the Western Liberation Front are it's a de facto group from the Fireflies.
Yeah.
So these are people who learned their tactics from the Fireflies, but they were able to recruit after the Fireflies. So, I'm 100% sure that a lot of those WLF, soldiers, are people who were left over once the Fireflies disassembled after they lost their leader.
And my thinking is we saw how big a force that is. You have to feed that force, and you have to house. And you look at what's left of Seattle. There's not much, and they know where there is food and ammo and housing. So that is what I'm seeing from this is, Ellie kind of called it right, and Seth called it right, of they would come back. And that's the feeling I'm getting, is that's what they're preparing to do, is to go and just take over that portion of, I think are they in Montana? They're in Montana, right?
Wyoming, I believe.
Wyoming. Okay, they're in Wyoming.
Jackson's in Wyoming, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I ask you this, Brad. Do you think that the town made the right decision not wanting to send 16 people?
I understand why the town would think
By the way, I think before you go into it, I think 16 people is a little bit overboard.
With how many they lost and they're still repairing, I think that's quite a bit. I think if you wanted to send a scouting of 5 or 6, I think you could have convinced them of that. 16 would have been a lot to ask at the time. But now, seeing the force they have and what they might have to go against, they might have wanted to have done that.
Yeah.
Or just send one Tommy, apparently. I don't know.
Even if the town said yes, I don't think Tommy would have even wanted to consider sending Ellie.
I don't think he could stop Ellie.
No, he knows damn well he can't stop Ellie.
No, there was no way to stop Ellie. And the therapist was right on the money. Ellie lied throughout that speech.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, she completely wants revenge, and she wants to make Abby pay.
She's angry.
Yeah.
Ellie's angry. She just lost her father figure, and she has been held out this information from Dina, who comes and tells her, hey, I know the names of these people and I know where they're going. So, she's rightfully mad. She's mad. She wants revenge, and she wants to go and hunt these people down.
Oh, that's what the giant box of cookies was for.
Yep. So, I understand where the town is coming from, but I also understand the fact that, hey, we need to not just protect ourselves, but we need to make sure that the wolves do not come back and take our resources because we worked really fucking hard to create this settlement.
Yeah.
And if you think for a second that Abby and her crew did not go back and tell their leaders, this settlement has a lot of resources.
Yeah.
We just took out their leader, and we need like one of their leaders, and we need to go back so we can raid their settlement.
Yeah, because you got to feed that force. That's simple. That's simple logic.
Even the Scars said it. Like, we're preparing ourselves for war. Like,
well, and it sounded like that group was trying to distance themselves from
war.
It sounded like there was already war. Or
kind of, yeah. Yeah, man, I thought that was really good. And obviously, Dina joining Ellie, and Ellie with Seth being traded the guns. She trades that gun for the rifle.
Yeah.
Which I really like the reasoning they give why Seth kind of makes this this change, and it's like it's kind of true. Like, we can have the opinions all that we want about each other, and we can view our lives differently, like the way that we live our lives. But at the end of the day,
people are complicated.
People are complex, and people will band together for a common cause. And it's like they say, Brad. You put a motherfucker in the battlefield. They don't give a fuck if they don't like a specific race, if they don't like that you have a specific sexuality, whatever. It doesn't matter. Once you're on that battlefield, it's either you kill or get killed. So you're gonna have to band up together and fucking make sure that none of you guys get each other killed.
Yep.
So, I think Seth is in that same mindset. It's like, hey, I want to make sure my town is protected. I don't care that you're gay. We're going to make sure that this gets done. Yeah.
There were a lot of emotional aspects through this episode.
Yeah.
The walking through the house, and then the making of it is they built that house. They actually built like interior of a house.
Yeah.
And just her slow walk through that, and her, going to Joel's clothes, and her just breaking down.
Yeah.
That was pretty rough watch.
Who fucking did flashbacks? Andrew Lincoln with a Georgian accent. Daryl never bathing. Jeffrey Dean Morgan devouring scenery. But Brad, I think the most emotional moment, I think one of the best moments of this episode to me, and possibly right now the season, which is the thumbnail for today's episode, is her at the grave.
I mean, that has to be the most beautiful scene.
What a shot!
Yeah,
what a shot! That, and of course the opening scene with Tommy cleaning up the body, but just beautiful shot, very emotional, and you can tell that's where that's where it's confirmed for Ellie that she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go and kill him. I'm gonna go and make sure that you're avenged.
But I like what they said at the end of the making the episode of Ellie goes in there thinking it's going to be easy, and you just have the creator going.
You saw that trailer, Brad?
Oh, I saw that. I'm pretty sure they're in the metro system right at some point, and it's not going well.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to next week's episode because I think it's going to be very intense. Like I said, I think this was a breather of an episode that you kind of need after the previous one, but I think it's going to ramp up again.
Yeah. So Brad, what do you think? What do you think is going on here with your with Dina? So Dina, tells her that, hey, I'm back with Jesse, but she's asking her about the kiss. What do you think is going on there, Brad?
I think Dina.
Rick Grimes, actor confirmed for Marvel Zombies 4-part series. Gee, Rick Grimes. Who the fuck played him? I cannot remember that motherfucker, bro. I didn't even watch like the first full season. I watched a couple of episodes.
I watched like 3 or 4 seasons, and then I stopped because it just kept going into the same.
Yeah.
Run away from zombies, get trapped in building, fight.
Andrew Lincoln.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
I think I got to where they were in the prison, then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Carl.
No, don't bring that back.
Come on, Carl.
But with your question with Dina, I think Dina's trying to test the waters. Otherwise, she wouldn't ask. Like, she's just been like, yeah, I was high. But she's asking like, well, how good was I as a kisser? You know, like nobody who's like not interested doesn't ask that.
Yeah. I think she's
And all it is it's just confusing Ellie.
Yeah, it is.
Ellie's got enough to fucking deal with. She doesn't need this shit.
Reddit is saying that they're going the straight girl being into gay girl route, where it's like they're kind of confused and they're just teasing the lesbian. I don't think I see that. I think more it's like Dina is confused, but she kind of feels like she might have a little bit of feelings for.
Well, like I said, she's testing the waters. I don't think she's
Yeah.
necessarily confused. I think she's
testing waters. Though.
she's testing the waters.
Yeah, because nobody asks that shit if they're not into.
She's dipping the toe in the water.
Yeah, nobody kisses somebody and then asks them how good of a kisser was I.
No.
If you're not interested in them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's just not something that
My
happens.
perspective.
Yeah, but Brad, what's your final verdict on the episode?
I really like this episode. I'm gonna.
Carl.
I think it's gonna ramp up in the next one. But I really enjoyed the emotional aspect of this episode. Like you said, Tommy cleaning Joel's body, and then you had Ellie walking through the house, and then you had the grave. I think very emotional aspects of this episode. Very well done, very well shot. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
All right, Brad. I'm coming in a little bit lower, Brad. I thought that was a really good episode, but I think it's a major step down from last week. Of course, I think that this episode had a lot on its shoulders. You are coming off one of the biggest deaths.
Well, and also, like, basically the whole battle scene.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard for you to come back from that.
Yeah.
So this episode wasn't going to be perfect, and if they somehow made it perfect, I was going to be like, wow, I got to hand it to you. But no, it's not perfect. And
I think if it does anything right, it gives the viewer a breather.
Yeah.
Because
and I think that we needed that. We need that.
Because we saw the preview of next week, and that shit's going to be intense.
100%. So I'm going to go ahead and give this episode a 8 out of 10, Brad. I think that this episode was really good, but I don't entirely think that it was on the level of the last 2 episodes.
I mean, for being the only episode 3, I think it's been a great season.
3 of 7.
Far. Yeah.
So I just...
And I don't think any episode's been wasted so far.
No. Some people had the fucking audacity to say this was a filler episode, so get the fuck out of here.
No. You go watch Daredevil episode 5, and that's a filler episode.
Yeah.
That's worse than a filler episode. That just was a fucking no reason episode.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see where we go from here. And yeah, dude, this was a really good episode. So no Abby this episode, nothing like that. Just straight up seeing where we came off from.
I think we were given enough to know that Abby is in the background somewhere over there.
Yeah.
And the WLF is a force that should be worried about.
Yeah. It's so like after that moment happens, Brad, last week, you pick up with Abby.
Yeah, you play as Abby from what I understand.
Yeah. But we'll see. I definitely believe that that once the people of Jackson hear that Ellie and Dina are gone, that I think that Jesse is the next one to leave, and I think
Tommy.
I think Jesse, Brad. I think they're gonna say Jesse.
I think Jesse's gonna follow Dina, and
Yeah.
I think Tommy's gonna eventually follow them all.
Yeah.
Or something's going to happen in the town, and then Tommy.
Yeah.
Leaves.
I just one way or another, I think it's gonna happen where Tommy finds his way out there. I do not see Tommy staying because there's some people being like, "Wow, are they trying to make Tommy stay home?" And I'm like, dude, there is no way that Tommy just stays. I'm sorry.
No, that would go kind of from what I've heard or watched of the gameplay. That would go
Even
against everything.
even if the game didn't exist, and you put yourself in the shoes of this man, and you saw Tommy last season, there is no way that man just stays home.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, and I think he states that to Ellie. He has her back
Yeah.
in that decision. And I think he's not only going to have her back by his vote, but by his presence in some form.
Yeah. So that concludes our review of season 2, episode 3. And of course, thank you so much for joining us. As always, keep up to date with us on the nerdcore.com, Twitter at the Nerdcore, Instagram at the Nerdcore, Letterboxd Nerdcore, TikTok at the Nerdcore, Patreon.com/Nerdcore, Discord link is in the description below. You can talk to us about The Last of Us, wrestling, video games, movies. Thunderbolts is coming out this weekend, next weekend. I'm going to go see it on Saturday, so I'm excited for that. And of course, just anything you can think about. You can talk to us on the Discord. It's in the description below. You can join and have a chat with us. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss next Sunday's review of season 2, episode 4. And of course, check out our review of Anora, dropping tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time. All that helps not so much. Leave a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app of choice and follow us on that app. All that helps us out so freaking much. Brad, thank you to our patrons. They make it possible. And we love you guys so much. We are going to be gone for now. We'll be back tomorrow on Patreon at the $1 tier and above. Our final review of this random month that we've been doing of just random reviews. We're going to be looking at a Netflix film from 2020, I believe. Pandemic time.
I think it was 2019, it said.
2019 it came out, but I think it dropped.
2020, yeah.
2020 it dropped in Netflix for the United States. But yeah, Ya no estoy aquí, aka I'm no longer here. And you guys are going to go and check that out. And yeah, with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. But for now, that's all I got for you guys, Brad. Let's go ahead and send them out of here.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being the host as always. Thank you to Stacy and Ayden for joining us in chat. Thank you to our listeners out there, patrons, words. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, I don't know. Don't play coy. Young Yoda out.